Has always been helping us with some understanding on legal issues. Lawyer Richard Nee, he is a private legal practitioner. Counsel, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Counsel, good evening and welcome to Newsnight. Well, I can't hear you. If you can check the side of your microphone, I'm sure that would go a long way to help the conversation. We're trying to speak with Lawyer Richard Nee. He's a private legal practitioner joining us via Zoom. Counsel, can you hear me? Good evening and welcome to Newsnight.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you educate us and take us through some legal decisions. But before we have that conversation, the Honorable Minority Leader and Member of Parliament for the people of the Futu constituency in the Central Region, Alexander Apenyo Markin, has been speaking after the decision by the court to remand the Bono regional chairman of the NPP into prison custody for about a week. Let's listen to the Honorable Minority Leader. Then from there, I'm sure we can expand the conversations.
Very well.
These are charges that are not serious offenses. If you say somebody is publishing fake news with the intent to cause fear and panic, it's a mere misdemeanor. Then you again say that his conduct is offensive conduct and it breaches the peace. These are not serious matters. And I mean, this shouldn't lead to somebody being put in Black Maria. On the contrary, a national officer of the NDC threatened my life, threatened the national organizer's life, threatened the chief whip and other senior members of the party. Threat of death openly. We petition. Unfortunately, because there's a different Ghana for MPP and there's a different Ghana for the NDC, the IGP has not even arrested the said officer. A communication officer of the NDC in Akotia constituency also repeated this said threats, but he has not been arrested, and that is what we see. You see, our friends in the NDC should watch this. Power is like an ice block. When it's given to you, it starts to melt from the very day. If we made mistakes, or if there were some mistakes in the past, which I admit that our government couldn't have been perfect, some mistakes were made. If the same will be repeated, then where are we heading to?
That was the Honorable Minority Leader, Member of Parliament for the people of the Futu constituency in the Central Region, Alexander Apenyo Markin. Now, Counsel, is it the law at work or something else?
Mr. Speaker, to the extent that this is how our legal system works in this country, I would say this is the law at work, because this is not the first time we are seeing things or the courts make decisions like this. You remember the last time some people went to demonstrate against Galamsey. I was representing some of them, looking for bail for them. There were some who had even just closed from church. They were just bypasses. The police arrested all of them. The court, the last time I used the word unreasonable, the court remanded all of them for 2 weeks without listening to them, whether they were part of the demonstration or not. And it took close to about 4 weeks before we managed to get bail for all of them. And it is the same thing that is happening in the Abronye situation. Whether the government is involved or not, I think our judges are the ones who lend credence to that perception that the government of the day is manipulating the judiciary. I think our judges must rise up to the occasion to defend the rights of citizens, whether they belong to a certain government or an opposition government, no matter which government is in power, so that bail cannot be used as a punishment against anybody in this country whether the person is Abronye or whether the person is Oliver Bakabomawo or whoever it might be.
Yeah. Now, did I get a certain impression from you that then one way or the other, sometimes our judges have been endorsing that impunity by some politicians or whatsoever?
You see, the judges have the discretion to grant bail or refuse bail.
Yeah.
It is their discretion once the matter has been brought to their court. When you read Act 30, which regulates criminal procedure in this country, it will tell you that bail should not be used as a punishment. It will also tell you that once the person can show that he or she will be willing to attend to court, and then the person has sufficient sureties who are ready to sign for him or her, you consider the offense involved. You consider the person's personal condition. For example, does he have a permanent work? Does he have a permanent place that he lives? Is the person a flight risk? Are there conditions to show that if you leave him, you go and interfere with the investigations? You look at all of those things and you exercise your discretion and grant bail. I've told you that this offense of disturbance to the public peace is a misdemeanor, and the maximum prison penalty that anyone can get under this law is 3 years. So if, for example, the trial is going to take 1 year and you are not granted bail, and at the end of the trial you are acquitted and discharged, it means you have spent 1 year in custody for no good reason. So for me, once the people are ready to sign sureties for the person, for a person like a regional chairman of a political party in this country, the courts should exercise their discretion to grant the person bail, so that we can avoid all this political perception that the politicians are banging about.
Now, in this case, looking at the charges pressed on him, and it says charges of offensive conduct conducive to the breach of public peace and publication of false news. I'm sure you listened to the Honorable Minority Leader. Are these charges that a sitting judge can hold on to, no matter what argument advanced by the prosecution, not to grant the accused bail?
Well, I was not in the court, but most of the time, the arguments that prosecution will bring for their reason for denial of bail is that we are still investigating and they need more time to investigate. For that one, 90% of the time, you can be sure policemen and prosecutors will come and make that argument. But we should ask our questions. If Abronye is granted bail today, what can he do to interfere with investigation?
Yeah.
Is he going to delete the video that the police already have in their possession? What can he do to interfere with investigation? So if he cannot interfere with investigation, then in my mind, it is unreasonable to deny him bail, because he is now being punished by the denial of the bail. Another argument that sometimes they make is that, this person, we struggled to arrest him, he was hiding, and all of those things. In the case of Abronye, we didn't hear that he was hiding. We didn't even hear that he was invited and he refused to go or something like that. But even if that is the case, we can look at the situation of Abronye and say that he is someone who is in the country, that he has a permanent place of abode because he's a regional chairman of a political party. You need sufficient funding to be able to win that kind of position. And if you don't have a house, I don't think you can become a regional chairman of a political party like the NPP. So to think that if Abronye is granted bail, he can run away or he can interfere with investigation, I don't think it is something that is tenable. And I will urge our brothers and sisters on the bench that things like this, they shouldn't give chance for the politicians to spin it and create the perception that the judges are being controlled by the certain government.
Does it in any way feel that perception?
Oh, of course, if you listen to what Apinomakin is saying, he is saying, and you see, what he is saying is even nauseating for him to say that, yes, our party may have made some mistakes in the past, so NDC should not also repeat it. When they were in power, were they the ones who were telling the judges to deny the people bill? Is that what Apinomakin is trying to tell us? So he should not be saying things like that. But if he's saying things like that, then it means he's telling Ghanaians that when they were in power, they were the ones who were telling the judges to deny people bail. And that is why he is now accusing the certain government of telling the judges to deny people bail. That commentary, I'm saying that if the judges assert their independence in the way they decide on some of these petty matters, the politicians will not have the opportunity to come and make those comments in order to create the perception that the judges are being controlled by the politicians.
Given another chance, Counsel, would you still want to stand by that word, nauseating?
Oh, Mr. Speaker, we are talking about the independence of our judiciary and the political commentary which creates the perception that the judiciary stands. So if politicians cannot mind their words and they will be using words that suggest that they are the ones that control the judiciary, then I think it is fair to say that those words are quite nauseating because they create the perception that it is the government of the day which always control the judiciary. And once that perception is there, it is very difficult for the ordinary people to believe that the judiciary is independent and that whatever they are doing has got nothing to do with the government of the day.
As a lawyer, a legal practitioner, is the judiciary independent?
I have said on several platforms, and I will always say it, that in Ghana, 95% of the time, the judiciary, they don't care about any politician. They do their work very well without any fear or favor. But there is some small percentage of about 5% where the cases involve politicians, and sometimes the decisions that come out tend to lend credence to the fact that they are more or less kowtowing to the government in power. And I've always been saying that if our judges work on that 5% to ensure that that perception is erased, I think the confidence that the people have in the judiciary will boost up to all heights that nobody can talk about them. Because I am a practitioner and I know that on a daily basis, when cases go to court, the judges look at the law and they decide fairly and impartially. But on the few occasions that political cases come and sometimes the outcome creates that perception, sometimes it lends credence to that perception out there that our court system is somehow controlling to the whims and caprices of the government of the day. Okay. And I think it doesn't help. It doesn't help investor confidence. It doesn't help the confidence of our own people in the judicial system. And some of these things sometimes lead to the instant justice that we see on the road every now and then. And so I will only continue to admonish our seniors, our brothers and sisters who are on the bench. They are doing so well, but they should do more to assert their independence.
All right, Counsel, listening to the Honorable Minority Leader, he referred to a certain incident that happened in Akwatia during the recently conducted by-elections in the eastern region. Now, let's read a statement from the police as far as that particular incident is concerned. And this is what the police have said. And it says a press release, and it says police investigations into an alleged assault on Alhaji Masaudu at Akwatia. And it says, following the commencement of investigations into an alleged assault on Alhaji Masaudu Osman at Akwatia on September 2nd, 2025, during the 2025 Akwatia by-elections, the Eastern Region, Eastern South Regional Police Command on September 10th, 2025, arrested suspect Alhaji Sofo Asoga or Asoka in Tamale, cautioned statement has been obtained from the suspect and has been released on bail to report to the Eastern South Regional Police Command in Chebi on September 16th, 2025 at 10 a.m. for him to be arraigned before court. The police assures the public of thorough investigations into the matter, hence, entreats all to remain calm as further development shall be communicated. And it was signed by David Fianco, my namesake, David Fianco, actually DSP. So this is a statement from the Ghana Police Service, and the suspect involved is a third vice chair of the ruling NDC. Do you see a different approach per the police operational activities compared to that of Abronye and any other person that have been arrested so far belonging to the NPP?
Of course, bail is discretionary, and the police can always use that discretion to decide that they are granting you bail. I've already explained some of the things that we look out for. But again, look at someone we saw in video threatening people and actually touching them. And then the police come and tell us that they have already arrested him and granted him bail. And he's been allowed to go and report himself so that he'll be taken to court. And another person also go and sit on TV or radio and also uses abusive words. And as for him, he has been arrested and put in, what's the name of the new car in town? A Black Maria. He has been put in a Black Maria and he's taken to court, and the court is even refusing to grant him bail after a second appearance. Certainly, whoever granted Chief Azuka bail have his or her own reasons for granting the bail. But the question is, what is the optics? What does the nation see? People are seeing what is happening and they are interpreting it differently, because to the ordinary people, Chief Azuka is an NDC person who was seen assaulting somebody in video. Yet, he has been given a very lenient bail condition. And then Abronye DC, who did not touch anybody. Of course, the people that he mentioned are quite heavyweight. But he was not even granted any bail by the police. In addition to that, the courts are also finding it difficult to grant him bail. So even though it is all lawful, the police is within its right to grant Chief Azuka the bail they have granted him. And the court is also within its right to refuse to grant Abronye DC bail. But the optics shows that the one who is of the government side has been favored more than the one who is on the opposition side.
And both were the same law. The same law was applied on the two people, right?
Exactly, the same law was applied on them.
Is it? Are we having A law and B law as against Ghana law?
No, the law has not changed. The law clearly states that bail is discretionary.
Okay.
And so if I am the police officer and you, Nana Fianco, you have been arrested, I am the one who will exercise my discretion to determine whether I'll grant you bail or not, and the kind of conditions I'll give to you.
Now, let me ask. Let me ask this, Counsel. You've been around for a very long time. If Chief Sofo Azuka was in opposition, would the police have granted him bail? Per what we all know.
Well, as it stands now, we don't know, because he was not arrested when they were in opposition. But like I'm saying, the optics are talking for itself.
Yeah.
The man is in government now. Police arrest him. They grant him bail and say, report on this day and come and report yourself. And then the one in opposition has been arrested. Police did not even consider granting him bail. He's taken to court, and the court is also finding it difficult to grant him bail. Therefore, the optics will always show that whoever is in government is being favored more than the one who is in opposition.
Are we seeing some sort of travesty of justice here?
It is difficult to say, because when you look at the act critically, you will realize that And the court has not violated the law.
Yeah.
And the police have also not violated the law. Both of them have exercised their discretion. In the opinion of the person who arrested Chief Azoka is not flight risk. He will not interfere with